Mr. Ricketts. Wonder what's going through their minds here as he applauds the fans. We'll be back after this with Tulsa Roughnecks soccer. Don't go anywhere. The kickoff's coming up next. Welcome back to Tulsa Roughnecks soccer as we come to you live from downtown Tulsa here at One Oak Field as we get set for the matchup with the Las Vegas Lights. There you see Michael Insian, the head coach of the Roughnecks. Victory number 1 last Wednesday night as he is now the new head coach here for the Roughnecks. Decision was made last week in that 2-0 win over the LA Galaxy. Thought, Brady, from what we saw, at least from the Roughnecks, is formation-wise, I thought we saw kind of a more natural-looking approach to the game, and you could sense the overall comfort level from essentially every member of that starting 11. Yeah, they went out there sporting a 4-2-3-1, but for whatever the reason, maybe it's just confidence coming from the coach or an overall structured game plan earlier in the week. We saw everyone look a little bit more comfortable than in the past, and I think that confidence stems from the top, from the coach all the way down, and it's how you approach training in the week, and we certainly saw that translate against LA. See there, Francisco Ugarte, who was the man of the match from the roustabouts on the last week, had a few moments almost like Hummels did during the Germany game where it seemed like he was maybe keeping the Roughnecks in it there for a while, same way Hummels was early in that match with Germany. If you can't tell, I'm still a tad bit bitter that they have been knocked out of the cup. But Ugarte stepped up, had a great game the other night, and then you saw there for a brief moment Eti Tavares, who both of us thought at least should have been in the argument for man of the match. I went back, Brady, and looked at the heat map and the touches that he had there on the near touchline, and it was just that little bit of confidence that you talked about early to really get him involved in that match, which really was a springboard for his game. Eti is a guy that can really impact a game. We saw him get about 12 touches in the offensive third last game, and you know, those kind of things end up stretching the back line of the opposing team. Those are the occasions where those center backs and those outside backs really have to take a second look when he's peeling right off that back shoulder and in behind. And we have guys like Merkovich or tonight Brandon Cervania.
and Joaquin Rivas slipping him in behind. So I'm excited to see what the Roughnecks do in these first 15 minutes and how they approach the game.
Fabian Serta, #1 in the league as far as saves are concerned, 62 so far on the season. This will be his 16th appearance and 16th start on the season coming into tonight. That's 1,350 minutes for Fabian Serta, who was tested a couple of times on a Wednesday night and came through with another clean sheet on the Knights. There are a few members of the roustabouts getting set for action here tonight. We are just a few moments away from, well, two teams that have come in. One leads the USL in yellow cards, and the next one is second. Las Vegas with 46 yellow cards, Tulsa with 37. And there you see one Samuel Ochoa making his return to One Oak Field, now as a member of the Las Vegas Lights. Last season, of course, with Sacramento, trying to continue on that soccer career that Sammy has had going for several years now.
Sammy's a guy, you can't give him an inch because he'll take it a mile. It's a guy that doesn't need much to create an opportunity, so he'll be a focus for Ugarte and company in the back tonight.
We are almost set and ready to go. It's a lot different setting from what it was on a Wednesday, in which the heat index was 109 at one point. Temperature at kickoff on that night was 97 degrees. Currently it's 85. We do have some wind that has moved in. It has really knocked down the temperature here this evening, and just hoping that the wet weather stays away to be able to fit this one in. We are almost set to go. Let's run down our referees real quick. Mr. Gonzalez will be our center tonight, followed by Shane Kennard, Kaylee Terry, and Brandon Query will be the fourth official. The red hat is walking off the field, and that means we are ready to go. I can welcome in everyone watching on ESPN Plus and Cox Your View here in the city of Tulsa and across the state, as the Roughnecks wearing the navy and orange kits tonight. Las Vegas in the white and blue.
Las Vegas have definitely taken the unique approach to a uniform this year. I think that caught some attention early on when they joined the league.
It's got a little Liga MX feel to it.
It's got flair. It's got flair.
There's Paris G, unable to keep that one in play here in the early going on the touchline. See the inaugural season. These two teams with the tie earlier in the season and a goal in stoppage time by Joaquin Rivas, UNLV. It's where he played his college ball, so it was a great homecoming for him.
Earlier we got a great little glimpse of John Perez getting involved early. We love to see that to grow his confidence into the game and you know, kind of keep his attention. It's really important to keep him activated throughout the game, keep him interested, because this is a guy, like I had mentioned last game, Pop, that I think he can be a very important author to the rest of this season.
As we mentioned in the lead-up, as Ochoa gets a flick on with the head to the backside of the box, and that is sent out of play there by Vukovic. Las Vegas has been, for the most part, a very direct team over a large portion of the season. Have not had very few moments where they've controlled any amount of possession. Here's an early attempt. Morton stands in front of that one, though. That was Alvarez. Alvarez had some space there, and Josh Morton was standing in front.
Alvarez, former San Antonio man. It's a guy that's confident on the ball, and he's extremely creative. He's similar to a Sammy Ochoa in that he doesn't really back out of any type of challenge. And, you know, it's a guy that can spark an entire team with one single flick or one single step over. This is a guy that impacts games.
He's been their top creator so far. Here's Perez there looking at him posting up. An opportunity here early. It's blocked by the defender, and the referee's going to point to the penalty spot. And the Roughnecks will have a big opportunity here in the get-go, or off the get-go, and it's a yellow card that's awarded. So we've got a handball.
This is great from the Roughnecks, getting the game started right away, taking chances. We wanted to highlight that early in the game. We wanted to get after them. We wanted to force balls in behind, get our outside mids involved, and now we get Joaquin Rivas stepping up to the spot. We see here John Perez once again getting involved. Michael Gamble, I believe, taking an opportunity similar to what Paris Guy was able to do all last game, registering 3 shots and putting 1 in the top shelf, and now Joaquin Rivas is going to get a great opportunity here.
Joaquin steps up to the right side, and the Roughnecks have an early lead on the penalty and the finish. The 1-0 lead here early.
Coach Incians has to be happy with, you know, the character in the locker room right now, and kind of the change of pace that he's created. He's seeing his guys adapt and listen to what he's saying in the locker room and inspiring them. That means the coach is getting through to these guys.
Now we get to see Tulsa with the opportunity to play for a big lead here. A bit ambitious there from Perez. Carino was out a bit. Perez also clipped as soon as he let that one go near the halfway line. Directly looking for Alvarez there on the ball, played in over the top. Joaquin Rivas now 8th. How about that touch from Paris G? Paris G on a direct sprint going at the defender, cuts to the inside. Oh, brilliant by the defender, who never gave up on that and was tracking back with Paris after that cheeky play.
Paris G continues to put out highlight reel stuff throughout these games. His confidence is growing. He's just oozing with that confidence. Really good to see our outside mids getting that involved and feeling comfortable to do that in the middle of the park.
Out wide, settled there with the chest on the touchline. Etty tracking back, knocks that one over the byline. A corner now coming up for Las Vegas. Alvarez out to take this one. As I was mentioning before the PK, Alvarez is pretty much doing it all there in the middle of the field. 4 goals and 3 assists in USL play. Top creator for the Lights. Perez with the clearance out of the box. Las Vegas looking for the long ball one more time. Finds Ochoa. Ugarte wins that battle with Mendiola. On the clearance, though, Paris G comes back. Has it. Vukovic. Gamble now from the center of the pitch. Touch almost got away from him. Able to handle it. Maybe a bit too heavy there from Paris, but continues to fight off of the deflection to Perez. Out wide, Tavares has plenty of space in front of him. Central ball played. Morton unable to do anything with it there. Now Ochoa up near midfield.
Ochoa so good at doing things just like that. It's simple and efficient, and that's a big body to have to deal with for 90 minutes.
Mendiola cuts to the inside. Out to the corner of the box. Avila, who has the yellow card. And Josh Morton, the first player there. One more time, and easy there from Serta, who has it in front of Ochoa. And what you've seen there is exactly what we've seen almost the entire season from Las Vegas, Brady. Not much as far as looking for those passes in the buildup. They want to play it from the back line forward almost every single time.
Well, they've got a guy like Sammy Ochoa up front who he's a handful. This is a guy that's going to win a lot of those aerial duels, and he's going to knock it down for guys like Alvarez to go and create. But what we've seen so far in this match is the Roughnecks willing to play out of the back effectively and get forward.
Here's Cervania, who's on loan from FC Dallas. one of those homegrown players that FC Dallas has now essentially become known for. I believe they set a record in their match the other night where they have 6 homegrown players.
6 homegrown players, and they're kind of putting the blueprint out for MLS for how to run these clubs effectively.
I believe FC Dallas set for D3 as well in USL play to begin next year. Another opportunity for guys to get more minutes.
It's been cool to see Ja'Cory Hayes get some good minutes with the first team. Ja'Cory spent a lot of time last year with the Roughnecks, and man, a solid player, a great guy in the locker room. So it's really good to see him find some success and a few goals with the first team this year with FC Dallas.
Sometimes I feel like you have to bang the table. Play your younger guys.
Play your younger guys. Believe in them.
Off of the deflection from Tavares back to Serta. There's one young guy who made a pretty big impression today. 19 years old in the World Cup.
Not bad.
Not
Mr.
bad.
Kylian Mbappe.
What do we have? 5 PSG goals today?
They're doing something right over there.
Cool.
There's something in the water. I believe they call Kylian Mbappe the Ninja Turtle. Guy looks a little like a turtle, and so his teammates in the locker room actually put a Gucci bag in his locker, and when he opened the bag, there was a Ninja Turtle mask in there for him to put on, and he thought Gucci was just sending him a nice gift.
He's got speed for days, too. There's one of those Patton Ochoa wins. Sets up a throw-in now. Far touchline as we enter the 11th minute. It's also with the 1-0 lead. The conversion on the penalty by Joaquin Rivas. Goal number 7 on the season for him. Long throw in here. Ochoa was surrounded by 2 defenders. Morton was there. Cervania as well from the mid.
Well, we're 10 minutes in. The Roughnecks look organized. They look like they have a plan.
Kobayashi's long ball. Settled. Looking for the run there from Ochoa right at the 18-yard box. Oh, batted around in there for a brief moment. Punched away by Serta. Alvarez was the next player to Fabian Serta. Here comes Gamble. Has Tavares to the outside. Cervania sprays wide for Paris. Tackled off the ball is Paris, and now a corner coming up for the Roughnecks.
I love that vision from Cervania early on in the game, looking in behind, looking for guys like Paris G to go affect the game. Coming out of the wrong end of a challenge, though, a hard challenge. Oily Coyote trying to rally the troops.
Referee wants to have a conversation. We typically have one of those on the first corner of every match. Got to settle down some of the pushing and shoving in there. Here's Rivas. Curling ball from Rivas towards the back post. Roughnecks are turned away here.
We're seeing these kind of situations happen more and more, Pop, and it's getting frustrating to watch these corner kicks without things like VAR to assist these referees. There's just too much for these guys to have to keep an eye on to call a fair game. So all these little fouls and these holds go unnoticed or go uncalled, and that's been affecting the game for years now.
And chances are, if you know you can get away with it, you're going to keep doing it consistently, and that's what we've seen. Ball played back from Ochoa. An opportunity off the back heel of Ugarte. That was Murphy who came through the midfield, all set up by that ball from Sammy. This will be too deep. Oh, and I think Serta touched it. He did, and that will be a corner. A mistake there by Fabian Serta. creates an opportunity for Las Vegas here in the 14th.
Yeah, just a small lapse of judgment right there by Fabian Serta. Now it's kind of up to him to get his guys back, organize them, set that foundation where everyone's got a man early, talk it out. But with a guy like Carlos Alvarez, that guy can pick out a head from just about anywhere on the field.
Alvarez, left hand in the air. That's Perez helping back, using that big frame. And then sent to the stands by Torres. Goal kick now coming up for the Roughnecks here in the 14th minute. Gives us an opportunity to remind you that Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50.
We got our first glimpse of James Murphy, the former Sheffield Wednesday, and now LAFC Loney here with Las Vegas. At 18, signed his professional contract with Sheffield Wednesday. And when you're 18 and as an American getting called over into England, you've got to have a bit about you. So this is a guy, number 19, James Murphy, that we're going to have to pay close attention to for the next 70 minutes.
Former Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of New Jersey.
And New Jersey, that's a hotbed for soccer, man. Pennsylvania as well. You see so many products come out of Pennsylvania.
Brady Ballew's opinion, hotbed more on the Pacific Northwest, or they're out in New Jersey?
You know, I mean, Washington has, we've sent quite a few guys to the pros. Right now, Kellen Rowe, he's kind of the guy I grew up, you know, envying, and he's been with New England Revolution for, you know, the better part of 6-7 years now. And man, that guy wrote every single record in the state of Washington.
Vukovic continued his run down the touchline there. Paris just could not slip it in between the two defenders. Would have been a tough ball to complete. Kobayashi, who 35 years of age, has been playing this game for a long time. He is the definition of a vet. He's found a home in Las Vegas. 2018. Nice there from Vukovic. Touch got away from him just a tad bit. Roughnecks have to be careful here at the counter as pulled back.
We're seeing the lights slowly grow into the game, enjoying some spells of long-term possession, and that's dangerous for a team with their caliber of players, especially guys like Sammy Ochoa, Carlos Alvarez. Doesn't take much for those guys to combine and get in behind.
I was just getting ready to bring that up. They have settled in more. They're not as much direct here in the last 5 minutes as what they have been. Now, don't get me wrong, they will still try to execute what they want to do, but they have seemingly found a few more lanes. Kobayashi's ball there to Mendiola. Somehow gets it away. Serta up to the test. Gamble finds Paris G. One touch with the right foot, now cuts to the inside. Looking there, easy ball for Rivas. Rivas turns and faces. Cervania square to Munoz. Ugarte. Morton looking for Gamble, unable to complete it. Here's Murphy. Vegas here patient, taking their time, pointing out and picking out where they want to go with it. Oh, bad ball from Vukovic. An opportunity there. Roughnecks are fortunate. The giveaway there to James Murphy. Murphy could have done more with that one, Brady.
Vukovic a little bit sloppy in the corner. Maybe just relax a little bit too much. But, yeah, once again, we're saying Murphy's name again. We can't let that guy warm up, you know, from outside the 18. That's a spot that guys of his caliber will punish you.
Good ball in. Rivas. Oh, it's square and no one's there. It was behind Tavares. And squandered opportunity for the Roughnecks.
Love to see Eti Tavares on that far touchline, making things happen, taking guys on. We'll see here in the replay. Joaquin Rivas sliding in behind and cutting that ball back right across the penalty spot. This is exactly where you want 2-3 guys making that run across goal, but the timing just didn't add up for the Roughnecks.
It was too far in front for Perez. There were actually 3 runs. There was Perez, there was Tavares, and then there was Paris on the far post. Unfortunate.
Let's just blame Joaquin then, I guess. I guess if we have to pick somebody. Joaquin Rivas, the guy that punished Las Vegas at Las Vegas a few weeks ago with, man, one of the best left-footed strikes I've seen in a long time. From distance, it just knocked the wind out of Las Vegas.
Las Vegas came out of that game and actually said that that didn't feel like a draw at all. That felt like a loss. And it said that it felt like it took them several days to get over that actually happening to them there at the end of the game. Las Vegas has been a welcomed addition to the West here in the USL. Speaking of, here's Rivas. Direct shot, easy there for Ferrinho.
Joaquin Rivas just calibrating that left foot more and more as the game goes on. Both 21 minutes in, we're still seeing both teams kind of feeling each other out. Taking some chances, but calculated chances. And once again, Las Vegas going long.
They've made it a point to get Murphy more involved here in the last 3 or 4 moments. Miscommunication there between Kobayashi and Mendiola.
We sure are spoiled seeing a guy like Fabian Serta's distribution week in and week out. It's so consistent, and it's not going unnoticed.
It's consistent, but then there are moments where you feel like that, did he just complete that one?
Right. He takes some chances where, you know, maybe as a head coach, Coach Encian now being at the helm, maybe he's saying, hey, tone it down a bit.
Paris. First touch with the right, cuts to the inside. This is an opportunity for him. A shot! Oh, it's off the crossbar. Blistering pace from Paris G. The Roughnecks aren't done. Kobayashi now with the clearance. Vukovic. Oh, Vukovic thought a tad bit of a late whistle. We'll catch a replay on this from Paris.
Paris G, once again, it's almost a mirror image of what happened last game. Cutting inside of that defender and just putting his entire foot behind it. Good for Paris G, get involved again, taking chances, taking his opportunities, taking his minutes on the field and trying to impact the game.
You're right, almost the exact same spot as Wednesday night.
I mean, if it worked once, it should work twice, I suppose.
Vukovic can't poke it through. Second defender. Las Vegas with Kobayashi. Morton steps in front. Good defensive play there from Morton in front of Alvarez. Looking for Paris. Paris on the run. Couldn't settle it at first. And then creates the opportunity playing it off of the defender.
Well done to the Roughnecks there. Josh Morton reading that play very well. We've seen this Morton kid really grow into this starting 11 and kind of make a name for himself over and over and over.
This will be Rivas with his second corner of the night. USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. You can follow at USL on Twitter. Referee making sure that everything's good inside the box for the keeper. Leading goal scorer for Tulsa. Standing over the ball. Curling ball there. Long ball from Kobayashi, and Paris is there along with Serta. Serta slips it to Paris G. Rivas. Long ball on the run there for John Perez. It's going to be too heavy. Carino has it.
We did say Fabian Serta was confident, didn't we?
He is not lacking. Center of the pitch, a shot. Well wide of the goal from Fabian Serta here in the 26th minute with the Roughnecks leading 1-0. Well, that's two giveaways now that have created corners for Las Vegas. And that will not make Michael Encian happy. Serta punches it as Sammy hits the turf. A shot back and another stop from Fabian Serta. Good ball towards the byline. Still in play. Push from behind against Ugarte.
Juan Herrera Perla just bailing out the Roughnecks in that situation. Here we see the Roughnecks just getting a little too lax with the ball. Setting up that corner kick, and then Christian Torres doing his best Pavard impression this afternoon. A heck of a goal from the outside back from France this morning. And
yeah, maybe one of the goals of the tournament
maybe,
so far.
yeah. And you could argue Nacho as well for Spain, a similar strike. And, man, to keep that ball down, to keep that backspin from it rising too much too quickly, I mean, the skill behind those kind of shots are unbelievable. And, man, were we blessed with some good games today.
Oh, my goodness. Two of the best players in the world now sent home. Do World Cup titles count in the GOAT debate?
I mean, I think they have to. It would be silly if they didn't. I mean, it's such an important part of the game is what players with the means to produce on an international level, what they do with that opportunity. And guys like Messi and Ronaldo, you know, that's a big part of, you know, their career is their international experience.
That's great from Cervania there. Helping out defensively, comes away with the ball. Vukovic now looking for the run down the line. It's Paris. Just unable to keep it in play. Messi was pressing the entire cup. You could just see it on his face.
Man.
You could see it in his play. So much pressure squarely on his shoulders.
And he did show he was human throughout the tournament,
yes.
you know, and it's good to see that from a guy like him, because sometimes you wonder if he's not like the rest of us.
Gamble. Tavares now turns and faces. Could be a bit too much there over the byline. A goal kick coming up for Las Vegas here in the 29th.
Love that little bit of class from Michael Gamble, putting that ball over the outside back into stride for Etsy Tavares to do what he does and take on guys one-on-one.
Alvarez tried to take on 4 separate Roughnecks, unable to get through that last line. Las Vegas still with possession here, center of the pitch through the center circle. Here's Murphy. Out wide, Mendiola. 35-year-old Kobayashi. 124 MLS appearances. Cleared out by Claudio Munoz. Throw in for Las Vegas.
Guys like Kobayashi and then Murphy as well. Murphy just a few weeks ago playing against Borussia Dortmund. Now we have the pleasure of watching him play here at One Oak in Tulsa. It's great what this USL, what this league has done for the growth of the game.
124 there. That's not even bringing up his 282 in J1.
What a monster. What a monster. Heck of a career for Kobayashi.
Yes. And did not make his way to the States until 2013. Well, the weight on that pass a bit much for Torres to catch up to.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing the Las Vegas Lights pushing those outside backs higher and higher as the game goes on. Something that the Roughnecks and the outside mids are going to have to be wary of to track back, to follow those runners. And then ultimately, Francisco Ugarte keeping everybody accountable in the back, making sure that Paris G and Etsy Tavares are doing that work on the defensive end.
It's just a little under 15 minutes as far as this last segment of the first half. During our conversation, cheap plug, open mic with Jeremy Poplin. My guest, as always, Michael Hensian, the head coach of the Roughnecks. A giveaway here at midfield. Roughnecks have to be extremely careful. Closing down, just a little bit of pressure from behind. I believe that was Cervania. And the ball sent wide. That was Mendiola. Missed chance for Las Vegas from the giveaway here at midfield.
This Las Vegas Lights team, we can't give them too many opportunities. There are plenty of players that can punish you, that can take that little bit of hope and make something of it.
I was asking Coach Hensian about possession rate and where he typically feels comfortable with, and he said, you know, in a perfect world, I want it to be around that 57 mark. And first half, they were virtually on it the entire time. So far here tonight, Las Vegas has the share of possession, just a smidge over 50%. This is a dangerous area, almost directly in the center of the pitch.
Yeah, about 30 yards out, giving guys like Carlos Alvarez an opportunity. Here we'll see the Roughnecks get caught, and Brandon Cervania sticking a foot in, and the referee seeing something that he didn't like in that. Not sure what.
Mendiola wanted to make sure that that one was called. This is Mr. Do Everything Alvarez. Las Vegas, by the way, plays 7 of their next 9 on the road away from Cashman. Alvarez with his short ball. Set play.
It's not the first dead ball trickery we've seen from the Las Vegas Lights in the last couple of weeks.
Not at all. I'm still stunned by the PK attempt at Swope on Sunday, with a chance to steal a point at the end of that game. Unfortunate. Little bump from Kobayashi sends Rivas to the opposite side. Well, if no one's going to close down, he's going to take an opportunity. Here's Mendiola, turns, shoots, and scores. Well, Las Vegas in the 34th minute has officially leveled at 1. That was Raul Mendiola. And the Lights are on the board at One Oak.
Raul Mendiola, extremely tight footwork in a tricky situation, just cutting up the back line of Tulsa, kind of finding himself right behind the back line and punishing the Roughnecks for their lack of, like we said, tracking runners. See here, and just a great finish, leaving Serta hopeless, but placing that far corner, doing every little bit to make sure that ball's in the back of the net. Kudos to Raul Mendiola for a nice little individual play.
Brady, sometimes we talk about runs, and a run doesn't have to be 15 or 20 yards. A run can be as simple as 5 yards, and that's essentially that diagonal run that Mendiola had. Received that ball coming in, made the quick little turn, and the Lights are on the board.
My ideal run is also about 2 to 3 yards, if I could plan it right every time. But Raul Mendiola finding himself in a great position, and then doing all the little things right, turning away from pressure, cutting against the grain, then placing a ball far post. All around, just a good finish and a good play.
Vukovic here looking for the long throw. Perez just couldn't get the right flick on it. Headed back into the feet of Las Vegas. It's Ochoa. A little bit of space. Sammy's ball. Vukovic there, looking on the far post for Kobayashi. Murphy down. Attempt there from Murphy. Ochoa a little bit upset at that ball. I could see him holding his hand up there. Sort of went to retrieve that ball, and the Roughnecks now with a goal kick.
Certainly a wasted opportunity from Murphy. The Roughnecks, for me, a little bit too deep in their 18, especially I'm assuming from Fabian Serta's point of view. He doesn't want his back line inside of his 6. Murphy will feel like he wish he could get that one back.
Feel the Roughnecks are a bit casual?
I think a bit casual. I would agree with that, Pop. I think what was confidence has become a little bit casual, but
Gamble. Paris has to track this one down. He's got Mendiola draped behind him. Vukovic. Rivas has Paris. Leaves for Paris G. Right-footed attempt from Paris. You can see that one from this angle, curling to the right. Slams into the Osage Casino Hotel sign in the back. But another attempt from Paris G.
Lovely little footwork here from Joaquin Rivas. Pinning his guy. Using that momentum to get Paris G involved. Paris G, once again, not afraid to pull the trigger from range. I mean, just in the past few games, we've seen him put together about 5 attempts and 2 in the, kind of that top corner range. I would say the Roughnecks have become a bit casual, but with that, you do have to bend without breaking, and I think they're somewhere riding that line where a team like Las Vegas can certainly take advantage of that.
Not as many touches tonight for Tavares that we saw. Speaking of Eti, he has one there, but has not found himself in enough space or as much space as what he had on Wednesday night. Hey, you can watch highlights from every game of the 2018 USL season and bonus content from around the league by subscribing to the league's official YouTube channel at youtube.com/USL. Torres. To Murphy. Cutting ball there from Murphy. Sammy can't get to it in enough time. It's our Green Country ball kids. Doing a great job as always here at One Oak.
Love to see those late runs out of the midfield from Joaquin Rivas. But ultimately falling short. The attack, leaving Las Vegas Lights on the break.
Ball from Sammy there on the return back to Alvarez. Torres, though, is finding himself with some space. It's a few times we've seen that.
Raul Mendiola is so shifty. He's so quick. Watching him play it tonight has been a joy so far. Just in the midfield, of finding those little pockets of space and, you know, creating more space for himself. It's been impressive to watch.
Even off of that little return ball, you saw him there break out, sprint.
It's a guy that's looking for the next thing already.
Yes.
He's thinking a step ahead, and man, I've been really impressed with Raul Mendiola tonight.
Throw in here for Las Vegas. Gamble. Now to Rivas. Leads for Tavares. Good job from the defender to get just a piece of it. The header from Perez. Sent into La Union 918.
Well, I'm sure members of La Union 918 would rather see that one in the back of the net than have a nice little grip of the new select ball. But Josh Morton getting deep in that attacking third, getting involved. And just a delicate little cross right here. Making the keeper think about what he's got to do, is if he's coming or if he's staying. And you can tell he wants to come, but he can't do it. Unlucky by John Perez not to get that on frame.
Nice from Kobayashi. Settled. Tried to slip it in between a couple of defenders there, looking for Ochoa. Was Avila unable to do so. Look at this with Perez. That's exactly what you want. Holding play up, allowing the Roughnecks an opportunity here with Gamble. Cervena. Cervena through the center of the pitch, cutting wide to the right, bumped briefly, still keeps possession. Knocked away from him, setting himself up for his left.
I love that pass from Murphy into Sammy Ochoa, fizzing it in. That might be his time over in England.
One more time there, looking for Torres. Alvarez. Rivas over to challenge. Murphy comes away with it. And maybe one of the first few mistakes that we've seen from Mendiola here tonight.
Raul Mendiola is human. Lionel Messi is human. Cristiano Ronaldo is human. There's a theme here today.
want to remind everyone that New Balance is the official kit provider for the Roughnecks. You find all the latest New Balance gear. The team store here at One Oak Field. RoughnecksFC.com has some gear as well. Should have a minimal amount of time added here to the end of the half. Been impressed with Las Vegas, Brady.
They're on the road. They haven't broken too much, with the exception of an unfortunate handball early on in the game that Joaquin Rivas punished them for. But it's a team that I think the coach should be happy with, and what's gone on in the first half. You know, they've been organized. They've kind of soaked up a lot of the pressure that the Roughnecks have brought to them, and then ultimately I think they've pinned back the Roughnecks back line on a few occasions deep inside their own 18. And you want to see that. As being on the road, you'll take that kind of thing and go into the halftime at 1-1.
You see the record on the road at 1-4-1.
And the leadership on Las Vegas between Kobayashi, Sammy Ochoa, and Alvarez. These are guys with a ton of MLS, USL, J1 experience.
Rivas. Ferrigno had to come flying off of his back line. We've got 1 minute of time added. Las Vegas trying to add one more here before half. Avila, who has the yellow card that gave us the PK. How about that service there at the penalty spot? Serta with the stop. Still not out of the danger area yet. That was Mendiola, who found himself alone with the ball there at the penalty spot. That should be, well, the referee's going to say play on.
The Roughnecks getting away with one there. Mendiola finding himself in a similar situation to just about 10 minutes ago where he punished us. That's a guy that wishes he could get that one back.
Avila. They're looking. Serta's out.
Fabian Serta getting a nice little applause from the fans here. Never short of effort or passion. Taking that contact. A nice little ball here from Avila.
Here's the stop there. Wasn't quite done yet. And the first half is officially in the books here at One Oak. There's the goal scorer for Las Vegas, Mendiola. His goal in the 34th minute has leveled things at 1 here at One Oak Field in downtown Tulsa. It was the opening few moments and the penalty on the yellow card and the handball there from Avila. They gave the Roughnecks an opportunity, and Joaquin Rivas finishes it in the opening few moments in the 4th minute here for the Roughnecks for goal number 7 for him as we head into the locker room here at halftime. Tied up at 1. Jeremy Poplin and Brady Ballou with you. When we come back, we'll run down some of the stats and the highlights from halftime. There you see the vision of downtown Tulsa with the clouds hanging in the background as the teams are making their way into the locker room here at halftime. Tied up at 1. When we come back, we'll have our halftime show for you coming up next here live from Tulsa at One Oak Field. This is Tulsa Roughnecks Soccer. the background with the clouds hanging in, as here at the break, the Roughnecks leading the Las Vegas Lights. Or excuse me, it's tied up at 1 with the goal there in the 34th minute from Las Vegas. Well, Brady, coming into tonight, we had talked about how Las Vegas played a very direct style. We saw signs of that here in the early going, but then about 15 to 20 minutes in, you could get the sense that they settled in a little bit, felt extremely more comfortable, and actually led the possession rate here at halftime against the Roughnecks.
Unfortunately, it took Las Vegas Lights a goal and a few extra minutes to kind of find their foot, but once they found their footing, it's been a good little showing for Las Vegas Lights, and we have to remember they have the likes of Zach Mathers and Freddie Adu still on the bench.
Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights here from One Oak Field tonight, where the Roughnecks did not take them very long at all to get on the board. We'll start things here with the foul.
Once again,
or the handball, actually, that was called, and the yellow card by Avila, and it was an opportunity to set up from Gamble, and this is a great finish here from Rivas.
Joaquin Rivas punishing the ball into the top corner. This all stems from John Perez getting involved in the attack and holding guys off and putting guys like Joaquin Rivas at the penalty spot, leaving the goalie no chance.
No chance whatsoever. We'll see here as Sammy Ochoa started to get into the mix a little bit there. Serta stretches all the way out, has a bit of a piece of it. And this is a young man in Mendiola that we'll see coming up here in a bit that has created quite the problem for the Roughnecks. Serta up to the test on that one.
Vukovic a little bit careless here, giving Murphy a chance from range.
You'll see here, watch this Perez. Again, back to the goal. Rivas directly at the keeper. No trouble there for him, but still that opportunity that's created. And we thought that we might have almost a mirror image of the goal from Wednesday night, Brady.
Paris Guy continuing in his vein to be fearless in front of goal. And now we get Raul Mendiola again, continuing to make things happen for Vegas. Unfortunately here we see that shot just go wide.
He was attacking directly down to the center of the park from here. Here is the reception there at the PK spot. Nifty little turn and a finish to the back post, and that is what makes us level at 1. And it wasn't very much of a run, but enough for him to collect that ball and an even impressive turn.
Yeah, very well done from Raul Mendiola. He's impressed us all game long. And crafty little combination play from Rivas and Paris G tonight. Paris G once again not afraid to pull the trigger.
One final opportunity here. Watch this ball from Morton. That was looking for Perez. Now he's sandwiched in between two defenders there. That one's into the bleachers behind. And that will pretty much close out our first half highlights, except for this one last chance here on the ball played in. Mendiola settled. Looked eerily similar to his first goal that he had. And that results are in the books for our first half. And a look at the highlights. Some of your quick thoughts on what the Roughnecks might try to do coming out of the halftime locker room.
Well, I think Coach Encian will be a little disappointed giving away, you know, obviously the goal and then a few opportunities that a guy like Raul Mendiola feels he should probably have 2 or 3 goals tonight, just being inside that 6 and creating those chances. But Encian has the opportunity to once again organize his guys, and they're coming in. It's 0-0. They have a whole nother half to really mix it up and, you know, get the winner.
Yeah, and now we'll get the opportunity to see, you know, what Encian comes up with coming out of the halftime locker room. Maybe a few tweaks and adjustments here to make. One adjustment I feel like has to happen is Etsy Tavares has to be able to get that ball in a little bit more space out wide like we saw on Wednesday night. We'll see what happens coming up here in a bit. Oh, and by the way, the rain has started to fall here at One Oak. We'll take a timeout and come back with more of our halftime show coming up next. Well, as you can see there, the rain has moved in. And oh boy, has it moved in. Some of the fans there huddling underneath some of the tents here on the concourse level at One Oak Field, trying to stay as dry as they can with the Roughnecks and Las Vegas Lights tied up at 1 here at halftime. Well, Brady, you do get the sense, as we are in the midst of what I am told is also not just for the rain, but also a lightning delay here at One Oak. You do get the sense that there is somewhat of a newfound confidence that we're seeing. I feel like not only from the Roughnecks, but also from Las Vegas coming in on a team that likes to play, at least from what we've seen, as direct as what they've had, with sharing the lion's share of the possession tonight.
I think for the Roughnecks, it's been really fun to watch. We're seeing these guys play out of the back and have a newfound comfort of playing out of the back. I think they did that in the first half of the season, but there was this feeling of maybe being a little bit hesitant. And now we're seeing guys really express themselves all over the field, whether that's for better or for worse. You know, it's guys that have the belief in themselves and their teammates to play out of pressure. For Las Vegas, a team that's normally they're lumping that ball up front to Samuel Cho to lay off balls, we're seeing them find kind of spells of possession and creating. We're seeing Murphy spread the ball from side to side, and Carlos Alvarez finding more pockets, and obviously the man Raul Mendiola, you know, really being able to impact the game.
So if you're a player now, you're in the locker room, you know there's going to be a little bit more of a delay. How does that change your approach going into the second half? Obviously, you want to try to remain as loose as you can, but what did you find yourself doing in situations like this?
Yeah, we were down in Austin, Texas in 2015.
Oh, boy, were we.
We were there for quite a few hours, and it's one of those things it's almost inevitable that your body's going to get cold, and so you put on a few layers. And for some guys, they're putting on music. For some guys, they rest their eyes. For some guys, they play soccer, tennis. For some guys, they sit quiet in their locker room or their locker. So every guy's different. You know, every guy's got their own little bit that they have to do. And for me, it was I just kind of forgot about the game and got to know my teammate a little bit better.
Yeah, that was a pretty incredible trip in Austin there back in 2015 that we had to endure with flooding all across the city at that time. So it really comes down to individual preferences as well. With the rain continuing to come down, you just saw the flash of lightning there in the background as well. So we do have a lightning strike within 8 miles. So that does mean that we are going to be in a tad bit of a delay. So we're going to send everyone back to the weather delay screen coming up here in a bit. We're going to get out of the booth since the lightning is happening here. And when we come back, we'll hopefully be set for the second half coming up next with the Roughnecks and the Las Vegas Lights, as we are in a weather delay as we speak due to lightning, tied up at 1 apiece. We'll see you hopefully coming up in a few minutes with the second half here live from One Oak Field in downtown Tulsa. Welcome back to One Oak Field in downtown Tulsa, where we are getting set for the start of the second half after a brief weather delay as the rain started to pour down as soon as the teams were walking off the pitch in almost perfect timing at the end of the first half, in which our score was tied up at 1 apiece. Jeremy Poplin and Brady Ballou with you, just moments away as you see both teams warming up here tonight after a rather extended period inside the locker room. USL gave them about, around the 15-minute mark to allow both of them to come out and test the conditions on the field. The tarp was placed down over the field, which would cover up the infield portion of the field here at One Oak Field. Brady, you were talking at halftime about how it's really kind of an individual thing on how you handle the extra time that you have, whether you want to listen to music and calm yourself or maybe get up and play a little soccer, tennis. It's kind of up to you, and each individual guy will do what he deems is necessary.
Yeah, and for a lot of guys, you know, we don't run into this as players all that often, so you're always kind of experimenting with what you think is going to be the best for you, is going to be the best to get the best performance out of you in this second half that seems so distant. But surely the pitch will play a little bit faster in this second half, and guys will just have to take that attention to detail to the next level. And there's no need to take any chances in this first 15 minutes on your defensive end. You know, just making sure that everything is clear away from the goal and get the guys comfortable, get your footing right, and kind of enhance your opportunities later. But it's a tricky thing. It's probably a coach's dream to have your team's attention in the locker room for 20, 30 minutes and really drive home what you want to do on the field in the second half. But I know on the players' end, it can certainly be frustrating.
There you see Michael Encian going over some last-minute things as he watches Roughnecks finish their warm-up position. Saw Mendiola creep into the screen there for you. His goal there in the 34th minute leveled things at 1. So the 24-year-old comes from the Galaxy Academy, had a homegrown contract there in 2014. He made 13 career appearances at the MLS level with the Galaxy, scored 6 goals in 39 appearances with Los Dos at USL play, and he makes things level, and he has by far tonight been one of the biggest creators that we've seen for Las Vegas. And as they put on Twitter themselves, hashtag playing away from LV problems. Well, not necessarily a problem here tonight with Mendiola.
Yeah, Mendiola is a force to be reckoned with. Not big in stature, but surely you feel his presence on the field. This is a guy that's had the pleasure, you know, spending time with the Los Angeles Galaxy, getting to play against the likes of FC Barcelona whenever they come into town, and a guy that has a lot of interesting experience both in MLS and USL. So he's going to be a guy that the Roughnecks are going to want to hone in on the second half and kind of put his activity to rest. So look forward to getting this second half underway.
And we are officially underway, and what has become pretty much a tradition with the set piece here from Las Vegas to get things going off of the kickoff. Back underway here in downtown Tulsa. Jeremy Poplin and Brady Ballou with you. Thank you to those of you watching in on Cox Your View here in Tulsa and on ESPN Plus. Roughnecks with an early chance. Here's Perez. Perez will have a go. And from our angle, difficult to tell from the position that we're at, but that one did not miss by much.
No, well done here by Vukovic, finding Perez just in a bit of space right outside the 18 and maybe 12 inches away from that post. Well done by Perez and the Roughnecks to get off on the right foot and kind of get the blood rushing.
The attack directly down the center of the pitch. That ball from Vukovic, right on the money. Things starting off quickly. Here's Gamble. Cuts between 2 defenders. Has Paris G. Rivas, who has 2 goals in both of his games against Las Vegas. Paris tried to touch around the defender. Seen him several times tonight with clever pieces of skill. That one well over the top of Sammy Ochoa.
And it may just be the case that Coach Insien really seeing what Paris is capable of and kind of giving him the license to create and try those flicks in the offensive third. Certainly, you know, not in their defensive half, but Paris really showing his confidence in the last few games here.
Rivas harassed from behind. Turnover at midfield. It's Kobayashi. Looking there one more time for Ochoa, who comes out. Fabian Serta, contact there. And this will be a big opportunity now for Las Vegas. He's going to come over and check on Sammy Ochoa. Sammy is down flat on his back. Serta awarded a yellow card. And we'll see the replay with the contact here.
Fabian Serta really left with no choice but to come after that ball. And a brave Sammy Ochoa flying into the path of Fabian Serta's fist.
Yeah, and Serta kind of came out, had that foot up in the air as well. Came flying through, and it's just one of those moments where he's trying to get to the ball.
And you're putting the referee in that difficult position. We say it time and time again. The referee's not left with much of a choice. And let me tell you, from experience, running into Sammy Ochoa is not a fun thing.
So Las Vegas trying to capitalize here. And it'll be the veteran Kobayashi. Attempting to put Las Vegas in the lead. .35-year-old standing over the ball. Fabian Serta bouncing back and forth. Kobayashi fires into the back of the net. And the Japanese veteran has put Las Vegas Lights in front 2-1 here in the opening minutes of the second half at One Oak Field.
Kobayashi, as cool as you like in this situation, firing it to that left far post, leaving Fabian Serta with an outstretched paw. And it's tough for the Roughnecks after a promising start to that second half, but Kobayashi doing everything in his power. It's a well-taken penalty, and once again, on the topic of penalties, just in the World Cup, they're getting harder and harder to finish. So kudos to Kobayashi for a cool finish.
Las Vegas not done yet. Alvarez taking advantage of the moisture that's there. Nice ball in. The flag is up on the far side. Ochoa got to the ball almost at the exact same time that Fabian Serta did. See here, replay one more time, brought to you by HarscoJobs.com. Just a well-hit penalty.
Yeah, Serta going the right way on that one, but just the speed and the force of Kobayashi's well-placed penalty, too much for Fabian Serta.
17-year pro career for Kobayashi.
How many penalties do you think he's taken? Dozens.
At least. Here he is one more time. Center of the park, leaves it now. Alatorre. Look for Alvarez out wide, but that ball was clipped. Ugarte safely back to Fabian Serta. And the Roughnecks will attempt the slow build from the back. Claudio Munoz. Munoz up past halfway. Off the deflection, finds Sammy. Sammy now dribbling right foot, leaves it here. Kobayashi attempts well wide of the net. Goal kick coming up for the Roughnecks.
Claudio Munoz just trying to pick a pass, while the Roughnecks all high up the field and then getting caught in transition. Sammy Ochoa does a nice job there, just holding up that play, not forcing it, waiting for his numbers to get up with him. And unfortunately, Kobayashi probably not too happy with his attempt. And I'm sure the rest of the Lights a little bit disappointed with how that one finished. But the Roughnecks now in a difficult position, facing some adversity. Coach Insien's first bit of, being down a goal.
Tavares there. Referee's going to stop and bring it back. Avila, who's already booked with 1 yellow, receiving a talking to there by the official. Two-man wall with Mendiola and Murphy. Vukovic. Ball in from Vukovic. The referee points in the other direction, a foul against Tulsa.
Las Vegas getting a little bit fortunate there with the foul as Eti Tavares was on this back post. Nobody marking him. He was alone. I don't know if Vukovic was able to see that from his point of view, but a little bit sloppy on the defensive end from Las Vegas. Once again, getting bailed out.
Vukovic on the service, last 2 seasons in the NASL. 5 goals in 59 appearances. Indy 11 there in NASL. Also spent some time with the Columbus Crew. This ball will trickle out. Torres plays it back to the corner. There in enough time. Good defending there by the Roughnecks and Ugarte.
Las Vegas capitalizing early.
Tulsa's just had the 1 attempt here in the early going. Here's Gamble. Joaquin Rivas. Not much on it at all. By the time it got back to Ferrino, it didn't have much on it.
10 minutes into the second half, we're already seeing a bit of time wasting by Vegas. This could be a long half. This trend continues.
Also showing signs now of a little bit more pressure. Here's Gamble. Gamble in a foot race. Gets to it. Can he turn the corner? He does. He's got help. Slots it there. The defender coming back to help. Rivas back to Gamble. And that attempt for Tulsa on the steal by Gamble is turned away.
Love that bit of effort from Michael Gamble. Just getting in the way of a pass and then chasing down a little bit of a loose end and losing his defender. And then just not picking out the pass I think he wanted. And ultimately at the end, not the best of crosses, leaving the Roughnecks frustrated, but good to see the Roughnecks on the front foot defensively. Want to see that as the game progresses on, as Las Vegas looks to kind of kill the will for the next 30, 40 minutes.
Hey, credit Kyle Murphy, because if Kyle Murphy did not have that hustle, that desire to get back, his slide through on the ball from Gamble was what saved Las Vegas there.
Those are those things you don't see on the stat sheet either. There's no way to represent that when someone's looking at Murphy's play tonight.
And we'll see if this bit of pressure from Tulsa keeps up here over the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. You seemingly have picked things up. Coach Insian wants to see more of it.
Looks like we've got Jonathan Levin warming up on the sideline. Coach Insian possibly making a change here early. I like to see that from a coach, just warming up a guy, because the guy's on the field. As a guy on the field early on the second half and you see a guy warming up, you think you need to step it up. You don't want to be the guy that's taken off the field. And I know that was a huge mental aspect for the game for me, and I know for a lot of other players.
Nice from Kobayashi. Probably wanted a better ball. How about this service from Serta? Tavares, can he get there in time? He cannot. And maybe a little bit of a sell in favor of Las Vegas. Marcelo Alatorre Maybe just a little clip there on the heel, but not much at all to warrant that type of reaction.
In those positions, it doesn't take much for the referee to give the benefit of the doubt to that defender facing his own goal. So,
and Paris G, overlapping run to the outside. G will turn. Switches to Tavares. Settles with the chest. Eti Tavares. Oh, skyward. It's 15 rows deep.
So many good things leading up to that chance there. Paris-Guy getting wide, Morton overlapping to create some space, and a great first touch by Eti Tavares, but at the end, it's just that little bit of quality we need in the final third. Wasn't there.
Kobayashi's been everywhere. Sets himself up. Serta, oh, sliding over, has it. Giveaway by the Roughnecks. Gamble to Perez, one touch out wide. Rivas turns. Miscommunication there.
Although this result isn't going the way of the Roughnecks, I'm finding watching these guys more and more, they are becoming more and more fun to watch. Guys like Rivas and Eti combining more often. Guys like Gamble getting involved and Morton overlapping. Just that sheer desire to get forward, to make something happen, to right the ship for this season. This is going to be a fun last, couple months of the season for these Roughnecks.
Looking for the long ball as Perez was in the vicinity. Roughnecks have to be careful here as the lights now turn, and looking through the center circle, it's Murphy, who hasn't been on much of the ball here in the second half. Did have a big defensive play, though, for Las Vegas. Had it out of the box, but still out to Torres. Towards the far post, settles. Kobayashi with the one touch there. Looking in a hand, and that'll be another penalty. So disaster for the Roughnecks here. And I think they got Vukovic. We'll have to see on the replay.
It's unlucky there for Vukovic. Just a hand in, for me, a pretty natural position. Where else is he going to put it? And a ball flicked up into the path.
And he's also got his body essentially turned away from it because he's facing the offensive player.
Referee may be just too quick to call that one for me, but once again, putting the referee in a difficult position in the box, defending, kind of last-ditch efforts. And now we have a new penalty taker, Sammy Ochoa, mixing it up instead of Kobayashi.
Well, referee Guido Gonzalez gives Sammy Ochoa an opportunity, and Sammy skies it. Oh, Sammy Ochoa had an opportunity to put the lights in front by 2 and sends it crashing over the bar, Roberto Baggio style.
It's the last thing I expected from a guy with the class and caliber of Sammy Ochoa, to blast that one over the bar in a situation that could have really put this game to rest, in my opinion. So giving the Roughnecks a lifeline.
Well, Sammy's the leading goal scorer in Roughnecks history here, has credited with 20 goals and 56 appearances for the Roughnecks. Had an opportunity for one more here at One Oak, and watch this from behind the play.
It was always rising from Ochoa.
Had a lot on that one. Vukovic. Ball down. The header to goal. Josh Morton with the slide. And the celebration continues. Vukovic with the beautiful ball in. Morton comes flying through the header, and we are level at 2.
Those free kicks are so difficult for a goalkeeper. He's stuck at that point because he's waiting in case that ball trickles all the way to the back post. He has to be absolutely sure. And then a guy like Josh Morton coming in, you'll see here, grazing it along. Maybe Vukovic and him might have a little conversation in the locker room afterwards in that one, how much of a touch Josh Morton got on it.
Well, it looked like the backside of the defensive line just stood still, Brady, as that run directly through there from Josh Morton.
We had highlighted it just a few minutes ago, seeing Eti Tavares wide open on the back post of another set piece by Vukovic. And so, lackluster defending coming back to bite Sammy Ochoa and his missed penalty. Oh, how tides have turned here in Tulsa.
And you could sense a tad bit more energy over the past 10 minutes or so. They stepped in between in a few passing lanes. They were stepping up their pressure a bit. We saw signs of more press. They had several opportunities.
For me, the next thing that really needs to happen for the Roughnecks is continue to get John Perez on the ball. Continue to involve him.
Searching ball does not find Paris G, but Roughnecks now with a chance on the throw-in. And if you're Las Vegas, just think you have to continue to settle back in here and continue to play your game. Perez with the turn. Off of the defender. Smart play by Paris G. Corner now for Tulsa.
Las Vegas,
65th.
Las Vegas certainly weathering a storm right now. They've already weathered one tonight. A nice 30-minute lightning delay. And now the Roughnecks surging back into form.
Vukovic, hand in the air. 4 separate runs coming in. Keeper comes off of his line, punches it away. Here's the throw in, and we'll have a sub. Well, this is going to be Jonathan Levin for Paris G. So this is a tad bit of a surprising move, and it looks like that means they will shift Gamble over to fill that spot created by Paris G exiting. Jonathan Levin coming in now. Jonathan Levin rejoined the Roughnecks on April 25th.
Paris G with just a very, very good shift again tonight, rattling one off the crossbar in the first half. Maybe Coach Insian, seeing that now that the game's tied, get some, kind of core strength in the middle, putting Levin in. But ultimately, I'd love to see Paris G get more minutes in a game like tonight. I think he was really growing into the game as it went.
Gamble now harassed from behind. Seeing Las Vegas now apply a little bit of their own. Eti somehow got there. Rivas, keeper well outside of the box. Be a foul. Now the assistance flag was up for an offsides here on the near side. Carino has shown that he does not lack in hesitation.
Would love to see the referee play a little advantage there, as the Roughnecks were off to the races. But certainly, yeah, the Las Vegas Lights goalkeeper not afraid to come off his line.
Gamble just a few steps short now. Has to track back. Alvarez. It's Torres in support. Now they'll overlap.
It's a little thing that we just saw right there from Josh Morton, but just reading the play on that little back heel along the sideline, seeing that overlap was coming and just noticing that the attacker didn't have many options there and just not biting on stepping to it and then dropping off and relieving that pressure only to steal the ball. So Morton, I've been so impressed with this guy over and over again for such a young guy straight out of Cal, coming to the Roughnecks. He's really proven himself.
Well, here's a young man that you're a little bit familiar with, Zach Mathers, who is on. 24-year-old Keller, Texas native, second-round choice, 35th overall with the Seattle Sounders FC in the 2016 MLS Super Draft. Had quite the standout career at Duke.
Mathers isn't one of those guys that's gonna, razzle and dazzle or beat you for pace or anything, but it's a guy that's just so consistent that can punish you. He oozes class, and I've always enjoyed watching him with Sounders too, kind of take the reins over there. And he's got some good minutes with the first team in the past few years with the Sounders, and now making home in Las Vegas.
Yeah, unique ability to hold and control their possession in the middle third is Mathers. 14 goals over 48 appearances with Sounders 2. There at Duke, 14 goals and 18 assists. This will be a card.
For any of those Duke soccer fans, I believe Mathers was there with Nick Palatichuk. Nick Palatichuk, one of those guys that's kind of fallen off the radar. He was, for a while, considered to be the next, for a lack of better guys to say, Landon Donovan. He was a new hope for people. And along the West Coast, he played his soccer with the Sounders U23. And Palatichuk and Mathers could have really done a whole lot of damage at Duke. But I haven't heard what Palatichuk's doing. So if anyone knows, tweet me.
Marco Jaime with the yellow card. Vukovic, another service. Perez. Well, the Lights defense on the last several set pieces has allowed not only Morton to run through, but Perez there, some standing on those balls in. Herrera Perla pleading his case.
Love this look into John Perez here. John Perez just putting his body in between the ball and the man, earning him his side. Another free kick in a very similar situation to that Josh Morton goal. We'll see if Las Vegas tightens up that defense here.
Got 3 Tulsa players there towards the back post. Ball not enough to loop in over the top. Gamble, Morton. Nifty little initial turn there from Morton. There's too many defenders. Quickly to the opposite end on the counter.
But man, what an absolutely icy touch from Raul Mendiola on the turn. This kid's so much fun to watch. Former LA Galaxy 2 player.
'73rd minute, anyone's game now. Little miss there, Rivas. Just enough from Herrera Perla. One little bump on the body there to knock Rivas offline. Cerdas knocks that one away. Great ball from the byline there from Torres. Levin was looking towards the corner. There was not a player there. Gamble. Oh, Rivas now can turn and run straight at the defenders. Slips it in for Perez. Assistance flag is up. There was contact there as well, and now John Perez is going to be issued a card. Ferrinho is still down, face down on the turf.
Ferrinho, the victim of a nasty challenge here with John Perez. I don't think anything malicious, but just a head colliding with a fast-moving body, and John Perez is no small human. Joaquin Rivas finding himself in acres of space in the middle, trying to slip in Perez, but hope Ferrinho's okay.
It will be the third yellow card of the season issued to John Perez. Ferrinho was shaking his head. He's up, he's okay.
Man, you have to be a different breed to be a goalkeeper these days. The collisions, the size of the players, and man, you can't hesitate. You got to put your body on the line over and over and over again.
We'll get set to send this one forward. Towards the 18, a turn. This is Mather's first real touch on a ball since he's been subbed in. Cervena dumps it to the corner. Rivas. Alatorre wins first. Forward to Murphy. And knocked out of play. Want to keep up with the best social media from around the USL? Well, you can join Kelsey Steele every Friday on the USL social media channels for the latest edition of Off the Post. What are your thoughts on Cervena? We've seen him several times throughout the season, down from FC Dallas.
I was just about to compliment the guy. In this last little spell of possession down here in the corner, Joaquin Rivas getting nuzzles off the ball in the corner, and Cervena, no hesitation to get back and play defense. And not only is he calm and cool on the ball, but his sheer willingness to work for the team. I'm really impressed with the guy.
Josh Morton. Off of the defender, a throw in now. Gamble. Cervena's on. Cervena could not find his way past Ferrinho. And the keeper comes up big.
Probably the curse of the commentator there. I think so highly of the kid, and just unlucky for him to not lift that ball over the goalkeeper. Ferrino doing well to read the play and come out.
Well, Fabian Serta now has to quickly track back. Sometimes maybe a bit too much confidence from Fabian.
He might argue with you on that one. He might.
No, we could have a discussion over Instagram.
Because you know he's on the most active man on Instagram. He's breaking records with data usage.
Ferrino, here's this replay. Turn, keeper out. Just enough there to his left. Referee wants to push back the throw a bit.
I think they love doing that. I think it's something the referees like too much. It's just making a guy move back 1 or 2 yards.
Foul here in the middle of the pitch. You see Morton there, his rookie season from Cal. Ball immediately in his direction. Too much. Now a throw in for Tulsa in the 80th. One of the sponsors of the Roughnecks is Case & Associates. If you're looking for an apartment, Case & Associates has you covered. Every need that you might have, caseusa.com. They make the Roughnecks players feel at home when they're not on the pitch. Show a full head of steam there, tangled up. And they'll get Sammy on the foul. Good work there from Claudio. Munoz, by the way, we don't talk about this much, has a pair of caps to his credit. 2 friendlies for the Chilean national team.
Hasn't really put a foot wrong tonight. Been really impressed with Claudio. Good guy off the field too. Family man.
Etty running onto it. Tried the back heel as he was approaching the byline quickly. Should be a foul. Look at the Green Country Ball kids. Always help out here at One Oak. Vukovic, driven ball there. Morton! Oh, Morton just over the top of the crossbar. Sometimes you have to question how they just don't find a way in, and that would be one of them. We do have a Lights player that is down. That's Torres. We'll catch it here on the replay. Driven ball over the top of Perez, somehow finds its way to Morton. And left-footed over the top of the bar, and you can see there in the background, that back line from Las Vegas starting to have a few conversations with each other, looking around and questioning what has exactly gone on with some of the set pieces. Kobayashi's attempt at playing it out wide was nullified, and now he is down. Official has waved on the athletic trainer. Actually, that's Torres who is down, who was just down in the box on the opposite end of the field. Looks like he's holding that exact same area there.
still can't figure out how the Roughnecks didn't put that one in the back of the net. That's one of those ones that's going to leave you scratching your head long after this game's over, seemingly defying the laws of physics at that point. But encouraging stuff from the Roughnecks, just continuing to put pressure on that Vegas back line.
We'll have a sub. This is going to be Young, who's going to make his way on for Gamble. Gamble should be credited with a nice work rate here this evening. As he sprints his way off to the edge of the field here in the 84th. Young on loan from Reno, 1868.
At 2-2, seeing a guy like Michael Gamble sprint off the field like that, that's a change of attitude here with the Roughnecks. Maybe not to say that they would have walked off in the past, but to see him run off, man, that's a change of attitude that they still believe that they can get 3 points tonight. I love that kind of attitude now from the Roughnecks.
Long ball played here for Young. Can he get to it in time? He does. Yes, too much there. Alvarez was the man between him and goal. But comes onto the field and has an immediate impact as Christian Young. And not done yet. Cervania now will leave the throw in for Vukovic. Watch to get exclusive video content and photography from across the USL. You can do that by making sure to follow the league's official Instagram account at USL Soccer. We're looking at a tense last 5 minutes here, Brady. This will be a sub now for Las Vegas. This will be Alex Mendoza for Christian Torres, who looks like he's still ailing a bit after being down on the turf the last couple of times up and down the pitch.
Torres putting in a good shift for me tonight. Thought he was pretty active up and down the flanks, creating some chances on goal. And Pop, as you alluded to just a bit ago, this is a tense last 10 minutes. There's been some end-to-end stuff in the last 15, and obviously with the Las Vegas Lights and their set-piece defending, the Roughnecks should feel like they should have another opportunity to get one in the back of the net.
Morton trying to redeem himself. Runs into an absolute brick wall in Murphy. Jonathan Levin thought that he got away with one there. Referee quickly stopped it, and here come the Lights. Mendoza working against Tavares. Really hasn't been that much possession from Las Vegas in this third of the field, Brady, at all, especially over the last 20 minutes.
No, we're seeing him kind of skip that midfield and just from the back line straight into that those forwards like Sammy Ochoa laying balls off and getting him behind.
Towards the back post, Serta. Almost a routine play now for Fabian Serta. This is seemingly what we had mentioned earlier about how Las Vegas needed to settle in back into their game. have done so here as of late.
I've been impressed with Las Vegas here on the road. I don't know about you, Pop, but a side that's come in and put up a good fight. They've looked, for the most part, organized, you know, with some sort of game plan, whether it's to be pretty direct. I thought they've been consistent.
Yeah, for a team that has struggled on the road, I mean, there have been obviously some areas that need to be shored up that we've seen tonight, but for a team that struggled, they've had their moments. Ward tried to splash it wide, looking for Rivas. Throw in now deep. Tyrion was defending against Mathers. Jaime with the throw. Knocked out of the area. Comes down. Serta off of his line. Serta from that angle definitely needed to get a piece of it. He did so with Mendiola. But a corner now. Las Vegas wanted to show maybe they'll leave it. Mendiola was out there to take it quickly. May not be that much time added. Only a handful of opportunities for both teams. Shifty move, Mendiola. Oh, tried to work against both Tulsa defenders.
Here we'll see that opportunity thwarted by the big frame of Fabian Serta, closing down any hope of an angle. Really love to see that from your goalkeeper late in the game, still coming off his line, sure of himself.
Just 2 minutes added. Referee now wants to bring over the captain, Francisco Ugarte. Gives me an opportunity to remind you that if you think you know the USL, you can test your knowledge in USsoccer.com's weekly picks competition every Tuesday, and you could win tickets to an upcoming USL game of your choice. Long throw here. Clear it out of the box. Up next, trying to quickly turn on the counter here. Etsy caught up in traffic, couldn't fight his way through. Morton finally has Rivas. Oh, Rivas' first touch failed him. We do not see that often. On the road or at home. Mendiola, Mathers looking back for Mendiola, tripped up. Just ran into each other. Is that Morton? Yes, it is. Looks like he's holding that left ankle. Watch on the replay. Mathers give and go there with Mendiola running through and just kind of clipped each other.
Those are those positions where you don't want to see Mathers get the ball too often. That's kind of home base for him. Just floating right and around that top of the 18D, similar to a Lampard in that he's arriving late, and that's a guy that can punish you, and he can slide balls in. And with guys as quick as Raul Mendiola, once again, we've seen him just be so shifty tonight.
Serta. Oh, and the referee there. And that will do it. That extra time was seemingly added as well. About 30 more seconds after the conversation with Ugarte. And that will end in the Roughnecks and Las Vegas for the second time this season, ending up even.
So probably a fair result for me. Both teams having adequate chances. A missed penalty by Sammy Ochoa in that second half, and then Josh Morton flicking the ball over the bar from about 4 yards out. Still leaving me wondering, but congrats to Coach Incian, still undefeated as head coach of the Roughnecks.
Yeah, that will be the story of this game, are the missed opportunities from both sides here in the second half. The penalty from Sammy Ochoa that was sent well over the bar. A couple of chances for the Roughnecks. And now the Lights record on the road still at 1-4 and now 2. And as you said, Brady, I feel like a pretty fair result.
There we see Freddie Adu, for a while, one of the American heroes.
Freddie Adu, for obviously those that are watching understand the story of Freddie Adu, but there was so much pressure that was put on Freddie Adu to be the savior, the quote-unquote savior of American soccer. Almost expectations that no individual could ever live up to. Had to take a break from soccer, then came back and talked about finding his passion for the game again. Has several appearances with the Lights this season, and want to wish him the best of luck in moving forward. As you see there, Vukovic talking with Michael Incian. Hey, Court Furniture Rental makes the Roughnecks players feel at home when they're not on the pitch. Court Furniture, there when you need it and gone when you don't. Let's take a look at the second half highlights here with this match that ends at 2 apiece, with both sides walking away with a point here on a Saturday night in downtown Tulsa after a rain delay. And this will get things started here with Vukovic. Another ball played through. Perez tried to check that near post, Brady, and did not miss by much.
Not by much at all. Good to see Perez get involved early in that second half. We'd see him continue to be a pain in the side. And then here we see the first penalty of the second half. Sammy Ochoa putting his body on the line and getting in the way of Fabian Serta's fist.
Here's Kobayashi's penalty that is converted, hammers it into the back of the net. You see here on the reverse play, Serta guessed correctly, but there was a lot of pace on that ball from the 35-year-old. He made it look easy. Come back down to the opposite end. Here's Gamble. Gamble now with space. And that's the play where you've just got to credit the good hustle there from Murphy, who helped thwart that play.
Eti Tavares just punching that one over the bar. Would like that one back for sure. Just need a little bit of class there. And then the second penalty of the night, the story of the night. Sammy Ochoa doing his best Baggio impression, sending one into the stands, into the Bush scoreboard bar. Fabian Serta, happy to see that one float over the top.
And Sammy will be thinking about that one all the way back to Las Vegas, missing this opportunity here. How about the service from Vukovic tonight? Curling ball in, the header, and there's the goal from Josh Morton.
Top class stuff from Vukovic, putting that ball in a dangerous spot. You'll watch the keeper here, stuck on his line. He can't come out, waiting for the pressure to come inside, and sure enough, Morton getting his head on it, flicking it in, even the score at 2-2.
One more look here. Curling ball in, just missed there. That was Perez. We'll see it one more time here from the halfway line as the ball sent in and just missed and over the bar there from Morton. So 2 pretty big opportunities there that is missed. See there Michael Incian having a chat with Donovan Ricketts. One can wonder if the conversation that's happening between those two right now about the performance tonight for Tulsa. We'll wrap it up with a few of your thoughts, Brady.
Oh, I'm sure that conversation, they'll take the point at this point in the season. You keep that undefeated record as the new head of the Tulsa Roughnecks, and you look forward to growing next week as a side. I was pretty impressed with the Roughnecks and their discipline tonight. I thought both goals were taken well. Vukovic, another good night of service for him. Good to see Josh Morton get on the score sheet. And then you want to see guys like Christian Tyrion came off the bench and he impacted the game right away. That's all you can ask for. And then finally, probably the biggest thing for me tonight, it was such a little thing just seeing Michael Gamble sprint off the field at 2-2, because there's still this belief that you can get 3 points out of a tie ball game. And I mean, that's the change of mentality that we want to see going into the last half of this season.
I think it's 2 brilliant games in a row for Vukovic. That's one of the main things that I take away from this 2-game homestand here at ONEOK as the Roughnecks get set for their next 3 on the road before they come back on July 28th. It'll be a rather lengthy stretch of time before we see them back here at ONEOK, but Vukovic has shown signs that he will be a key piece to the puzzle moving forward for the Roughnecks as they start down this second half of the season. As they end up tonight with 1 point out of this contest as it finishes even at 2 apiece. I want to say thank you to everyone here at the crew at ONEOK for all of their effort here this evening. Thank you to the great camera angles tonight as the Roughnecks continue to sign autographs with the fans that were in attendance here this evening. Good job, Brady Ballou. See you back here at ONEOK in almost 1 month from now.
I can't wait. I'm so excited for the second half of the season to unfold with Coach Insine at the head of the table. Renewed
sense of energy and 4 points out of 2 matches here at ONEOK for this season. Thank you to those of you watching in on Cox YourView and also ESPN Plus. Have a great rest of your weekend. Final score for the final time. It ends in a draw, 2 apiece between Las Vegas and Tulsa. Good night from all of us here at ONEOK Field.